hard to believe. We have 55 Rotarians on the line here, and want to queue up a couple things. First off, glad to see that we had an inauguration that was uneventful from a security perspective there. I mean, Steve, you're just talking about that. So I'm glad to see that is all in place, and all of the, hopefully all the madness from that perspective is behind us. So on the local level, there's been a number of things that I know since I've been called to be president, a number of things we've been working on. And as we talk both as a board and a 100th year anniversary committee, there was discussion on, we probably should be updating the entire club as to what we're working on and what the plans are for our 100th. Because if you don't know, and you should know, we're right in the middle of our 100th year. So this 2021 is part of our 100th year. So a monumental, task, or not task, but accomplishment for us at 100 years. So there's a number of things that we had planned for the year. My calendar looked a little bit different, and I'm not going to whine about it, but we were going to have socials about every 6 weeks. So our plan was to have programs every five weeks. And the 6th week, we were going to meet at a location outside of the church and have a social component to that. Our good friend COVID-19 obviously changed that, has changed the world, but we have not lost focus of bringing a couple of things to the forefront and celebrating the fact that our club is in its 100th year this year. So we're going to cover those. Well, that's the plan for today, is to update you on what we have in forms of a banquet. Kind of generally, if we look at planning, what we're eyeing right now. And then also, this was a year that we allocated a number of funds to community projects. Over the last couple of years, presidents prior to myself have been allocating funds to the 100th anniversary project. And then also, we've received some funds in support of that 100th year as well. So we're going to talk about some significant projects that we have in the queue. They're not signed, sealed, delivered by any means, but seeking your input as to where we're headed as a club to make sure we're all on the right track. So I know, again, there's a number of things that have changed in the world, but we do have some exciting news to share with you as to what your club is planning to do before my tenure is over and we turn things over to Terry. I see Tom Rumball. He's looking nice, tie here right in the middle of my screen, at least. Yeah, there you go. Tom, do you want to kind of share a little bit? You need some help with flags. What do you got, bud?
Sure. Yeah, as Justin says, we are pretty much all of the flags have been collected for the most part. And we have a great big pile of flags that need to be assessed, to be gone over, to make sure that they are ready for next year's flag season. The next opportunity to do that is coming this Thursday, January 28th. There's got to be 2 shifts. If you're a morning person, the first shift is 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The second shift is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Those are the proposed times right now. If no one is able to make any of those times, or if they don't want to divulge or dedicate 2 hours to the project, you don't have to stay there the entire time. So yeah, very flexible with the new building, the new space that we have for maintaining the flags. We basically can go in there and maintain those flags at any time. But the first couple formal flag maintenance days are coming this Thursday. And there again, if you have a group of people that just want to get together and come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure Justin will be there to let you in and get you set up and get going. But really,
Mars, Tom, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. So really, I mean, seriously, if these dates that we're setting are not set in stone, let me know if there's a time or a day that you or a group of people that want to come in and work on those flags. You will never hear me turn down any volunteer help to get these flags ready. We are probably about a quarter of the way through the flags as far as getting ready for next year. So yeah, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Going to set up another shift, couple shifts of maintenance days for February. I have not set that date yet, but there again, if you have any suggestions as far as dates go, weekends work better for you. Just give me all your input. Let's see, the work is relatively light. You don't necessarily have to do a heavy lifting to help out with the flags. They can get a little bit dirty, but that's all right. The building has plumbing. You can wash your hands all you want. There's restroom facilities. It is heated, so it's pretty comfortable there, and the work is pretty light. So don't forget, service above self. Let's see, and as you all know, this is a major fundraising event for Wooster Rotary. So, and the work days that we are scheduling, we are making sure that we keep the social distance. People keep their masks on, so don't worry about that either. And there again, if you just want a small group just of yourselves so that it's even more COVID friendly, you're certainly able to do that. One new thing that we're trying, we're going to test out some nylon flags. We bought some nylon flags. We're going to put those out next year and see how those hold up. They're more expensive than the polyester flags that we're using right now, but we wanted to make sure to see if they last 3 times as long, then it's worth the investment. But yeah, we'll be rolling those out this year. We're going to start off with I think about 200 of the nylon flags this year and see how those hold up. So that's kind of that's what's happening in the flag world.
Yeah,
that's all I have,
Tom,
Justin.
Tom, that's a great overview. If there's any questions for Tom, pose them now. But how do we get a hold of you again? We got your email. It was sent out in the email this week. But then you have a cell phone too, because you text as well. So what's that, Tom?
Yeah. The email has gone out to everybody. My cell number is 330-621-3592.
Excellent. Okay.
Yep. And we already have some signups. Thank you to everybody who has signed up. I'm going to take care of the later shift. Wayne Bear is going to take care of the morning shift as far as supervising and get everyone set up.
Okay. Any questions for Tom? Sandra, do you have a question?
Can those nylon flags be washed or cleaned? As
Yes.
opposed to the polyester ones that once the dirt and everything gets in there, they don't do very well. Do you know?
Both types of flags can be cleaned, and Raycrow cleaners have generously extended their services for free, and we have been cleaning those polyester flags. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes those polyester flags do get stained and are not able to clean. And that brings up another point. We do try to retire the ripped and dirty flags, and Greg Long's Boy Scout group extends the service of just properly destroying those old worn out flags as well, and dirty flags as well. So yes, and that's part of the testing, is to see how those nylon flags hold up, see if they wash out any better than the polyester ones.
Any other questions for Tom? Just on my screen, honestly, I continually say thank you. A couple people on my screen, Susan, Terry, Tom, Peggy, Don Noble, you put out tons of flags. There's a number of people that help out the flag program. Wayne Bear, obviously. So thank you so much for all your effort in
Making sure that the flag program continues to be a strong point and a strong program for the club. So hats off to you. So again, Thursday, the 28th, get a hold of Tom and help out if you are able. I don't think Bob Gorman is on the line, but if he is, and I'll wait. But we do have a publication coming out in February. It's a 16-page publication highlighting some of our service components. And Bob, are you on the line?
He is not, Justin. He let
Okay.
us know he would not.
Okay. Then maybe I'll let Phil cover that a little bit too. See, Phil, just keep throwing things at you, man. So one of the items that we have discussed, again, going back to this being our 100th year, is we do have a 100th year committee. And Phil Mariola, past president and district governor, he's been a godsend in the fact that he's headed this up in a year that's pretty interesting for us. And so we're going to take some time to kind of talk about things that we already have done, a couple of items that we are obviously looking to do, and then present with you the 2 community projects that we are eyeing. So Phil, if you don't mind, I'm going to turn things over to you, my friend.
Okay, thanks, Justin. Well, FYI, our club was chartered on March 1st, 1921. So we're coming up on our 100th anniversary shortly. And past President Kim asked Justin and I to co-chair a 100th anniversary committee. And we have about 10 people on that committee. So we've been meeting virtually. We had all these great ideas about, we booked the Schichler Center for March 4th over a year ago, trying to stay ahead of things. And needless to say that with COVID, they just can't have more than 10 people. So all those kind of things about, all those ideas about having put off from that. We're still very hopeful that we'll have a banquet later this summer, this fall. We have a couple different options, one being Schichler and one being Greystone.
So, hey, Phil, I hate to interrupt
You, am I the only one that's struggling maybe a little bit to hear Phil? Yeah. Okay.
Is that better, Justin? Is that better?
It seems to be a little bit. Yeah. Yep. Phil.
It's a little soft.
I'll turn it up a little bit. I tend to mumble. As Justin said, we had some great ideas. We solicited ideas from club members. We had some wonderful ideas. Are you hearing me better now?
it's in and out, but yeah.
It's not breaking up. It's just volume's a little bit lighter.
All right. That's about as high as I can go.
Okay.
Maybe if I talk a little closer.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
When Justin was able to work with the city, and I hope you noticed those lamppost banners that went up 100 years of Wooster Rotary. They ran pretty much all spring and summer, and maybe in the fall even, and they take them down for the winter time. We were able to get that done. Past President Kim, I hope you've been reading her emails, the 100 years of Rotary, of Wooster Rotary, that she sends out, about one a week. She's done that. I think the last one was part 40. And it was about the 1976-77 year when Roger Cook was our club president. We're still talking about running some videos on MCTV. It's actually not very expensive. We have some great old photos that Greg Barbu provided. Maybe we can make that into a montage and run some videos on MCTV. We've had a pretty good daily record presence. I don't know if you saw the full page spread yesterday on youth services, mostly about Youth Exchange, Interact, and the Worcester High School Speech and Debate Tournament that we sponsor. We sponsor the trophies. We've had 4 of those articles. One was about Kenya. One was first one was just an overview of Worcester Rotary. Had one on Kenya. Yesterday was youth services. And then we still have 2 more planned. One in March, which will be about the Worcester Rotary Parade of Flags. and that's being headed up by Joy Schmitz. And then there'll be one in May, and I'm thinking about featuring our pavilion at Oak Hill Park in May, and maybe some miscellaneous items. The Daily Record articles, we've been getting that sponsored, so that they have cost the club nothing. This one yesterday was sponsored by Wooster Brush. The previous one was sponsored by Critchfield, and I'm looking for sponsors for the March and May issue. March is easy. That's the Parade of Flags. Anybody would want to sponsor that one. So don't hesitate to call me if your company would like to sponsor the page for March on the Worcester Parade of Flags. We started throwing some ideas out about what to do. What would be a great club and community project for our 100th year? We had some wonderful ideas, some of which we can't do because of the pandemic. But Peggy Schmitz came up with this idea of creating a corridor of trees or a grove of trees. She had been somewhere once where she saw a corridor of trees that kind of impressed her. And I'm going to let her talk about that in a minute. But so that's what we've been working on lately. We just by kind of dumb luck, we made a call to Joe Montgomery and asked them if there were some parcels around the city that they would like to have beautified with some trees. And turns out they proposed some locations to us, and we were going to take them up. It looks like we're going to take them up on 2 of those. Both of them are at Oak Hill Park. So I'm going to let Peggy talk about that a little bit, about our latest idea, and then I think we might even have a diagram to show you. Want to take it, Peggy?
Thanks, Bill. Justin, is it possible to put our slides up now?
No problem. Yep. Hold on. One
Okay,
second.
thanks.
No problem. And Peggy, I'll just slide through them when you tell me.
Okay, great. So you're looking now at the entrance to Oak Hill Park off of Oak Hill Road. And as you can see, there is the city sign there. If you'll just focus for a minute on the grass at the bottom of the screen, this is on the north side of the entrance driveway to the park. And we'll be talking about that because this is one of the focal points that we're looking at. One of the committee members had suggested that we do a Founders Row for our 24 charter members. Some of the names will be familiar to you, like Herman Friedlander, Walter Foss, who is the founder, I believe, of Wooster Brush, Emmett Dix, who has been associated, was the founder, I think, of the Worcester Daily Record, William Curry from Curry Lumber. So a number of very prominent citizens are among our charter members, and we hope to plant 24 trees along that driveway leading into the park on the north side of the drive, and to have some signage that might be visible from Oak Hill Road. We're working right now with sign design on coming up with some concepts for what that would look like, and would note the Worcester Rotary Centennial, a permanent marker for that, and the names of the founders. We thought Oak Hill was a logical choice from the different sites that were recommended or suggested by Joel Montgomery and his crew at the city. Because we already have a presence there with our pavilion that you saw a second ago. And also we have one of the bike repair stations that the club worked on during Chad Borman's presidency, I believe. So we thought it would be nice to supplement that with an additional presence to beautify the entrance to the park. And then also there is a location along the trail, a 0.6 acre parcel where we hope to have a memorial grove. And in that little area, there might be a park bench. There may be a sign that notes our 50-year members. Lynn tells me that we are coming up on having 37 individuals from the Worcester Rotary Club who have been members for 50 years or more. So that will be a nice honorarium for those people too, we hope. So that's kind of what's going on there. We're waiting for some details on funding possibilities. We know that there is an allocation of funds, and Justin's kind of smirking, I think, because he's trying to put that all together and figure out where we stand on that. It's likely that there will be an opportunity for Rotarians to participate with some contributions to that project. Some of you were involved with the planting replacement of trees out at OARDC whenever the tornado came through the last time. I don't recall the year right now, but we were involved in planting saplings at that time. The good news is that we were so successful with those plantings that apparently most of them survived and have gotten to the place where they needed to be spaced out now so that they can continue to grow and thrive. So the OARDC is making those available to the city at no charge, but there will be some pretty expensive moving costs because some of those trees have gotten quite large. I think I heard someone say the other day that some of them are in the 12-foot range. And so it's going to be costly to move the number of trees, 24 for the Founders Row, and then an additional number, perhaps around 37 others that will be planted in the Memorial Grove. Costs of signage, costs of benches, all of those are things that might be underwritten if you're interested in those opportunities. I'm going to turn it over to Lynn and Phil to fill in any blanks that I've left.
I don't have any blanks, Peggy. I did well.
Yeah, maybe, Peggy, I don't know if the group can see the aerial. Can you see the aerial of the pavilion? And I'm sorry, folks, I tried to go to full screen.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
So talk to us about, we know the location. You talk about the founders out at the signage, the sign area, the entryway. The other grove in this aerial, Peggy, is that showing?
It is not. I had looked for that in the pictures, but if you follow the road in where we'll have our 24 trees along the north side of that road, between the parking lot that you see, that's the church's parking lot, and we'll run along the edge of the roadway there. And then if you turn right on the pathway, when you get on, those of you who are familiar with walking out there, and you go towards the right or towards the north, then you go around the curve and a short way down the path, there's a nice little thumbprint area that comprises the 0.6 acres that will become, we hope, our Memorial Grove.
Okay, perfect.
And it's pretty handicap accessible too, Justin. Those of you who hike in Oak in that park, like Peggy said, when you go in and turn right and start walking, I guess counterclockwise, but toward the north, as you make it, it swings around to the left, and then before it really starts heading downhill pretty steeply, before you get to that bench that's already there on the trail, there's a nice little 0.6 of an acre parcel that would work for us. It would. It's fairly flat, and I think you could get in there with you know, with handicapped could get in there. I wanted to mention that we are talking to Davy Tree about helping us offset some of the costs of digging up those trees and moving them. They do have some money in their budget for working with charitable organizations and nonprofits. So I'm going to be on a phone call tomorrow with somebody from Davy Tree to discuss that. So that's kind of the main project we've been working on for a 100th anniversary community project. There will be opportunities, especially in the 0.6 of an acre parcel, for maybe ongoing maintenance, ongoing plantations, shrubbery, whatever. So I think there's ways of getting people in our club involved in that project if they want to be. John Rose had mentioned to me, asked me that question. Yes, there will be opportunities for Wooster Rotarians to work on that project as we go forward. Have I missed anything, Peggy?
I don't think so, but I know that Joel's on the call and he might have some information he'd like to share.
I don't have a whole lot more to share. I do have that list of trees you mentioned, Peggy, and actually some of them are 30 feet tall.
Oh,
So that's why some of them are a little pricey, because they're 6 to 8 inches in diameter and 20 to 30 feet tall. But hopefully Davey will work with us on that and make that a little more reasonable to get those moved.
Yeah, and having the access to those trees, I mean, is great. I mean, obviously, we're able to make a pretty significant difference as far as visibility wise and creating that grove pretty instantly, you know, so a pretty unique opportunity for us, we think, to take advantage.
Advantage of. The whole point, again, of going over this project and the next project is, as a membership, if there are questions or concerns or, you know, now would be the time to ask those of not only those who presented, but also just the board. This project, just like it is today, was presented to the board last Wednesday as a, hey, would we be interested in financially supporting this? The board said yes. But again, any input or questions about the Tree Grove Legacy project at Oak Hill Park? Any questions? Seeing none, or if you do have questions post facto, please send those over, because this committee has really worked their butt off in the last 3 weeks. It's amazing how much that has come together. Joel, thank you for you contributing your time and coming up with this concept in the area. And Peggy, thank you for your vision on it. And if we don't hear anything, you know, hold the horses. This project will be moving forward. So again, any questions?
Yes, I have one. Steve Webster.
Yep, Webby. Yep.
Yeah, I chair the Urban Forestry Commission for the city, and we're highly interested in what's going on in the forest world around here. And we have a meeting coming up in 3 weeks or so. Is there any chance that we could get a layout of your proposed tree plantings and any other plans that we could get involved in?
Yes, Steve, this is Joel. Kurt Denning, you know, our maintenance manager, who's on the Urban Forestry Commission with you. He's planning on presenting all of this to you guys, the plans and the trees. And I know our city arborist, Dan, that you work with as well, is going through that list of trees to select ones that he would propose, you know, would be most conducive to that area, the different areas.
Joel, did you get a cost estimate to remove those large trees from the OARDC?
Well, we have a preliminary estimate, and I think that's what Phil or Peggy said. They were working on them to maybe help reduce that. But the initial number was about $400 for the 3 to 4 inch diameter and $1,000 for the 5 to 8 inch diameter. But that's what I think they're working with them to try to get that cost reduced a little bit.
I think there's a total of maybe 25 or 27 trees out there to select from.
There are 37.
And they're all quality trees. And I did get a $1,000 estimate for the larger ones, just for your planning purposes. That's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you, Webby. Appreciate it. Anybody else with a question on the first project? This would be funded through funds that we have set aside over the years for our 100th
Anniversary. Uniqueness is that also my budget was able to allocate some funds. You know, obviously with us not having tons of expenditures this year, could really hammer away at this project as far as number of trees. So, okay, thank you so much for the overview, Peggy. And oh, we have another question?
On chat, Justin.
Okay, go ahead, Lynn. If you have it up, you mind reading it? If you.
Sure, this is pretty good. Kathy McConnell's out walking, and she's at Oak Hill Park right now listening to our meetings. That's great.
Okay.
She asked, would the Memorial Grove preserve the wild blackberries? I don't know what area those are in, but maybe one of you do.
Well, there's a whole lot of wild blackberries right along the trail. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. There's just going to be a little bit of a alley into the Memorial Grove. So okay. I don't see why we would have to take out all those wild berries.
Good.
Kathy, you're not out there picking berries today, are you? Not in January, I hope not.
All right. I see something coming through here. All right. All right. So let's move on. That's our first project. Our second project, Greg Long is on the line, and we'll be discussing this. And this is something that both him and myself have been working on to see if this is a possibility. And it looks like it does have the opportunity to be presented to you today. So this project was presented to the board last Wednesday. This would be in conjunction with, or to further promote, our flag project. Our flag project, obviously, is our marquee project on an annual basis, is very important to our budget, and one that we continue to look to grow in the near future. Especially Terry has some plans on how to build that program up and get our membership even more engaged in it. That being said, it being our 100th year, and we also did come upon some funds from a trust that allocated funds to us early this year. They will come in, actually it was last year, those funds will be coming in the first quarter of 2021 to offset some of this expense. So let's talk about it. The idea is that we would install a significant flagpole, and we'll put that in perspective, a flagpole down on US Route 30. There's more than 28,000 vehicles. I think that's the latest traffic count, Joel, right? But that go along US Route 30. And the idea is that we would fund the installation of a community, what's called a community flag or community flagpole. The scale of it would be upwards of 150 foot. And the flag itself would be anywhere from 30 to 60 foot to a 40 by 80 foot flag, depending on that. We have cost estimates in for it, and it is in line with the budget to do both projects, to do a significant project at Oak Hill, and then to fund this project, the installation of a community flag. There is one that's similar. I took some of these photos. There's one that's similar along I-71 down towards Belleville, near the Love's gas station. That's generally the size of what our flag would be. Greg and I did have the opportunity to speak to a property owner along US Route 30 where we think it would be a great area for us, which would be the fairgrounds. So the photo hopefully that you're seeing, and someone give me a thumbs up that you see the fair. Lynn, you see, yeah, you see the fair? Okay, perfect. The idea is that the flagpole would be somewhere located near the entryway of the Wayne County Event Center. Okay, so that would be not only seen from Route 30 when you're going by, and you know, the idea is the Church of the Savior, when you come around that corner, you know, the church with the big heart, you'd be able to see that flag all the way from there, which would be pretty striking and pretty appealing. And then also just for all of the guests that we have at our fair each year, and the fair has many activities, they would be able to be at that base of the flag. We would also have signage there to talk about Rotary, this being donated and sponsored by, supported by the Wooster Rotary Club in its 100th year of existence, and would be a great piece for us. Now, Greg is more of the finance guy than I, so there's been discussion on, okay, you can put the flagpole up. How are you going to fund the ongoing maintenance of that? And I know that Greg is looking into that, number one, right now. And we also have had a number of interests from veterans groups and past veterans, or veterans rather, past veterans, that makes sense. Veterans who have said that they would be interested in financially supporting this project as well. So something that's within our reach. And Greg, what am I missing on there? Greg, you on the line? No, he is not. He's leaving me hang. That's okay. So again, 150-foot flagpole, and the flag, we would have to swap that flag out. They say anywhere from every 12 months to 18 months, the cost of which low end $1,300 to $2,000 per year would be the ongoing, essentially, let's call it maintenance of the community flag. Questions, comments, concerns on that project?
Are we gonna light it?
Yes, Sandra, that would be a requirement of it. Yes, it would be lit.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good.
And it would not require any beacon. It would not flash anything. There wouldn't be anything like that. It's under the FAA.
But I mean, it'll be spectacular at night when you come, you know, in there from that. So I know it has to be lit, but I think we have to, can we think about how, get Mike McClintock or somebody to help us, how much we need to light it so that that really is an incredible thing to see as you come down 30 and in the dark, early in the morning,
Yep.
people going to work, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Sandra. But yes, that is included in that cost. Anybody else have questions? Frank, Relly, you were talking at the board, you were doing some research, and I don't know if you want to chime in here a little bit. Okay, maybe not. Uh-oh, is that Frank? Is he trying? I'm gonna stop the screen here, stop the share. Okay. Anybody else have questions on the project as I'm going through my chat here? But again, the hopes would be, again, further promotion of the flag program. It would be a marquee piece for Rotary Club, and we have many veterans and have continued to support veterans programs and organizations. So it would be a piece where we could highlight our members who have been veterans. Frank, I see you online. Can you hear me, bud? Did you want to say anything? Just want to make sure. Looks like he was trying. There you go, Frank.
I'm just waiting for some callbacks from
Okay.
Arlington Cemetery and a few other people I've called in reference to how much this is going to weigh, how many people are required to put it up, what our responsibilities are from a federal guidelines in terms of that particular size flag.
Okay, perfect. Anybody have any other questions on that or comments? Okay. Tom Rumball, your thoughts? You're our flag man. Uh-oh, you're muted, man. Tom, you're muted. Yep. No, maybe not. We tried. Okay. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? I just want to make sure we're not missing anything in the chat. Okay.
Justin?
Yes.
I neglected to mention, just flipping back to the community tree project for a moment.
Yep.
There will be opportunities for members who so desire to get involved in helping to pay for that project, either by sponsoring a tree. Well, that's all still being worked on by the committee. But I don't see that tree project ending up costing the club very much money. I'm pretty certain we can pay for a lot of that with donations.
Correct. I think that's the positive. With the funds and both projects, we are confident we can get most of it paid as well through all funds.
Justin, we do have a question. What is the cost of the flag project?
Yep, the cost of the flag project is right around, and we're
Finalizing those numbers, Lynn, but right around the $50,000 mark. And so when we look at that, that's a significant expenditure, but it does match the match or very close to what the trust had allocated to the board or to the organization as well. So, and Greg, I know you did speak to the attorney covering that trust, and there was support in that project as well. And I don't know if Greg is on the line or not, but okay. All right. What is the timing? Oh, the timing on the tree project. Peggy, Phil, Joel, Lynn, want to talk about that?
Some of the trees, we're still waiting to hear back from the Arboretum, but some of the trees transplant better in the spring than they do in the fall. And so that will determine which trees get transplanted in.
I'll take over since he froze. So that will determine some flags will be planted probably in the spring, some in the fall, and we may even have two separate ceremonies for that, maybe a groundbreaking, then a final dedication.
And the time frame for the flag program, I got that to myself. Ideally, knock on wood, that stars align. We'd have the finances to see this, maybe to commission the flag on maybe appropriately on a patriotic holiday. The 4th of July would be great, right? So that's where we would eye to make sure that that's flying the first time. A note here, just a message as we wrap things up, since I'm not hearing many other questions. Club historian Ray Lizey is the one that's writing the weekly history of Wooster Rotary stories. And right now, I know Kimberly, what story number are we on? I mean, it's up there. I should know that off the top of my head. What number are we on?
So today's will be number 41.
Number 41. So for those who are wondering how those are being put together, our hats off to Ray Lizey. Thank you for all your work. Someone wanted to make sure that he was receiving some kudos there. And again, post the meeting, if there's further questions or comments on the projects, please send those over so we can take those into consideration as we move forward, it looks like, with both projects. Don Noble, you're on the line and you wanted to talk about next week's program.
Yes, real quick. Thank you, President Justin. Next week's program is going to be Gus Biggio, the son of Dr. Biggio, Frank, but he goes by Gus, talking about his travels and service in Afghanistan, and maybe a couple other things he's been privy to in the last couple of weeks, let's put it that way. And just real quick, what other programs coming up? February 8th, we have Ari Solomon, who's the husband of Sarah Bolton from the College of Wooster, talking about his business. Very interesting guy if you haven't talked to him yet. And February 15th, we have Bill Sharon again from the Worcester Hospital, giving us an update. I know he spoke to us in October, but you know, a lot has changed and continues to change with this COVID pandemic. So we'll get an update again from him. And February 22nd will be the State of the City, Mayor Brenneman. Again, our annual State of the City address from him. So yeah, thanks for my program committee. And that's what we got lined up for February.
Excellent. Thank you, Don. Okay, folks, well, we gave everybody the opportunity to speak on the projects. We appreciate you taking the time to log in. We had almost 60 log in today and hear about the projects and what your club is working on for the 100. Again,
And Phil, thank you to you and your committee for putting the time into the planning what we have currently on the docket. And I know it's an interesting year, but let's all stick together and hopefully we end this when we come out of this with a banquet to celebrate our 100th anniversary all together. So folks, is there anything else for the good of the order today? Lynn, did I miss anything? You're the best. Okay. Hey, thank you so much. Everybody have a good weekend and we'll see you in February. Take care of yourself.